Hey everybody, let's see here. It's been a good day today. We haven't had any crazy winds and we haven't had any fire. It's been a little bit of a thrill here the last week. When I streamed last Tuesday was when the winds started and I was getting notification after notification about, now this phone was connected via Wi-Fi, which maybe is harder to locate. But I was getting warnings about the fire, and I asked Nikki to keep an eye on things because I had no idea what was going on. Ultimately, it was not close to us on Tuesday, but Thursday, we were getting ready to go out to stream to the studio, and we got warnings. First we go out, and Nikki calls to me and is like, hey, and we look over, and the fire is really close. And it turns out it's we were confused. We thought it was the Palisades fire and that it had come around the mountain and through the canyon, but it was actually another fire that had just started. And so thankfully they were able to get that under control, but not after giving us warnings to get packed and ready to go. And so we, hey Cersei, so yeah, we got it together, and thankfully nothing happened in our area. That fire, I might have gotten to some structures, but I don't know. I actually could probably look it up, but it was not that crazy. But it was scary because it was close and very big for a short time. And I think because they had so much stuff in the air, they probably guided something over to that fire to just try to slow it down. It did not. If you look at the maps, most of the maps show the burned area, not the active area. We were commenting, I think on the stream on Tuesday, that the New York Times actually has a good maps that tell you where the fire is, which is helpful. And I could not find a source like that in the United States, in California. New York is in the United States. Anyway, so today I see some glitch. I hope that's. Oh, there we go. I think let me reset that camera. Maybe I just turned it off and turned it on again on this one. We've got I think I came in and turned everything on and did not really turn everything on. There's two master switches. Boy, I don't know, did that go or not? Oh, there it is, dang it. Very slow. Let's see here. It looks pretty good. Basically, it's doing the handshake, right? We have HDMI cameras, but we have SDI cable runs to the control room. So let's see, let's switch to this well, anyway, but yeah, today I'm gonna work on Elektra. I started last stream, and I need to finish. I have another miniature that is not here, but I want to do, oh, you know what, it's over here, I primed it. I think, actually it's been primed, but maybe I put another coat of white on it. But I'm trying to catch up because I have 3 sets of these miniatures now to paint. Let's just cut to the table. Let's cut to the table. But it's a little chilly out. I helped Nikki. We had to take the trash down. So you can see I painted her face. It was too dark. That's the one thing the rattle can situation is just not great for these faces. They're so big that I feel, and I'm not really happy with this. I actually thinned this quite a bit and didn't get it thin enough, I don't think. I mean, it's not, part of the issue, of course, is it's going on a kind of a spongy finish, this rattle can finish. You could see it, and so these are way smoother, right? The hair, well, you can't see that. It depends. No, I've done some rattle can airbrush priming that doesn't look 100% right. Boy, where's the one where she's on the cable? I don't know. I think it's Spider Woman or something. And I have the miniature here. I want to get it painted too. So I'm going to focus on getting these done. I will probably prime the other minis. I will do these probably first, the batons on these two while I'm doing the Basilicanum Gray. I'll finish these up, and then they'll be ready to varnish as well. And I want to try to varnish. I have a bunch of things that are kind of waiting to be varnished. Hey, Gator Dave, we are doing well, and the fire has. Today we had nothing, but we thought we haven't slept really well. Previous 2 nights were pretty good because there wasn't any noise. The wind wasn't crazy. The winds started supposedly on Monday, and we're now on Thursday. I don't know. I mean, they haven't been as bad as they said, so thankfully we haven't had any spread, but it hasn't been crazy since the weekend as far as fire goes. But I had only slept well Monday and Tuesday night, I guess, because it wasn't as noisy. They had made a big effort over the weekend to try to prevent it from spreading. Not that the fire is out, because it's the grasslands and the winds keep kicking it up, but thankfully it's not that bad. I think I mentioned on the stream on Tuesday, we actually got, I went up to a computer show, video game show, excuse me. I wish it was a computer show, it'd be probably more fun. Video game show that was retro, which is my thing. You know, I'm not a huge gamer in general, video gamer, but I went with Mike from our show, and he goes to one in Pasadena. This was a new one, and I went on the other side of the hill, and that was my first exposure to the smoke. We had smelled a tiny bit, maybe at one point somewhere, but not necessarily here. We've had the wind. The wind that is the challenge for the fire has kept the smoke and the ash away from us. So I was on that side of the hill. It was kind of experienced the smoke, not so much ash, a little bit. Went to the show, ran into a friend who I haven't seen at least in a decade, who is a voiceover guy. So he was there. He's a video game voice guy, and it was great to see him. The lighting was weird in that place. I need new glasses, there's no doubt. But I was like, he would probably be here, and I didn't, I couldn't see they have banners and stuff. And when we were kind of leaving, I'm looking over at one area, and I'm like, there's 2 banners. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Quentin. So I see him moving. He's run into the bathroom, which was terrible. I should have let him go. But I mean, we said hello, and then I'm like, you got to go to the bathroom, don't you? So then he came back, and we talked some more. But it was great to see him. But when I got home, I was coming home, it was like 7. And I said to Nikki, let's get something to eat. I'll pick you up. So I picked her up. We went out. As we get to the restaurant, the hills are on fire behind where the restaurant is at. And so we realized the restaurant, even if it was open, we probably don't want to be in there. It wasn't that close, but it was still scary enough. And it turns out it was mandatory evacuation. So we got stuck in a mandatory evacuation, and oh boy, that was scary. So the number one thing I suggest, if you hear anything like to evacuate about a fire, get your stuff together and get out of there sooner rather than later. It's better, I mean, if it's going to burn the house, it's going to burn the house, unless you decide you're going to stay to try to put it out, which I do not recommend necessarily. I mean, believe me, we thought about that kind of stuff too. But like, you hear about people not making it. And so, but anyway, get out of there before the craziness. So we were stuck, we were in my little MX-5 and giant SUVs around us. We could hear the sirens and couldn't see anything. And, because lots of emergency vehicles going through. And so it took us about an hour to get out of there. It was crazy. And then we ended up eating at McDonald's. Not McDonald's, excuse me, never eating at McDonald's, at Wendy's. So not too exciting. But yeah, it was freaky. And it definitely was a lesson, like, get out of there. If you feel it's getting close and they give you a warning, probably just get away from there for a while and see what happens. Do your best. We packed, emergency clothes and our meds and our computers. Not everything in the studio, just cameras, but we just wanted to be able to do our work if we needed to. I'm watching to see if the monitor let me know if you see anything weird. Anyway, like flashing. But yeah, so thankfully we were okay, and it was calmer from that point on. But we were gun shy after that thing on Friday, so we did not sleep well. Okay, well, this is the one I painted previously. I'm sure I painted it on a stream a while ago, or showed it on the stream probably if I painted it off. It needs to be varnished. I mean, it is varnished, but it's too shiny. I don't know what I did. I think I might have used a matte, because I have 3 kinds. Well, I have gloss, a very small amount of gloss. I have ultra matte, matte, and satin. And maybe I used matte, and it's not really that matte. I definitely want it to be duller, so when I do all the rest of these, I'll do that. So she's a pretty good, so there is a glitch. Is it on the down cam, Jim? Let me know if you see that. it probably is that I need to reset that box. And that's what you're seeing. So let me pause, let me cut back to me, and I will reset that box. Okay, let me go reset the box. It's right behind me. Well, not right behind me. Oof, but yeah, it's not simple. I didn't turn it all on. That was I think the downer about all that. Hopefully that's the box. Am I still on? Couldn't tell you. I think this is the box. It's funny, I assumed that, but what do I know? Boy, I'll tell you, it doesn't seem very good. Well, there is another thing in between here. Maybe that's the problem. I wonder, did I shut myself off? Maybe not. Let's see here. I'll get my ears back on. It is weird, like the glitchiness of that stuff. I did reset the box, so been through a few serious hurricane preps in the aftermath. So obviously, it's a whole different beast. But that feeling of everyday life on the brink, breaking down is insane. Absolutely, Gator Dave. And I can't even imagine something like a hurricane where it's massive amounts and the roads are going to be blocked even more insanely. So, to me, it seems like if you're capable of like leaving it, it's probably the best bet. I guaranteed we will leave early the next time. We didn't know, and we were, again, they were not letting us know. They didn't warn us. Now, it was a new fire, so it could be that it wasn't a threat until then, but as soon as we found out, we were like running around and had everybody asking us questions, and like, Scott's like, do you think you can get some of the gear? I'm like, I will try. You know, we were rushing to get stuff done. We had no idea, and it was pretty imposing. Like the smoke, considering the way the wind is blowing, the smoke looked insanely close. It was probably about a mile away. You look at the map and the warning and the mandatory. Mandatory doesn't mean the fire's there, but that's right up against the edge of the fires, and that's Hidden Hills, which is kind of like a gated community, which is right next to us. You know, that's multi-million-dollar homes. There's million-dollar homes in the neighborhood too, but multi-million-dollar homes. Anyway, let's see. Okay, well, let's cut to the other camera and see how it goes. I just saw a flash, and there's a flash again. Huh. Well, let me try this. Let me cut back. Let me try powering down the box here. I have another box here that I pass everything through. Hey, I'm moving, but that is not. So I cut down that. I patched the wrong thing. Well, let's see how it does. Okay, cool. That was interesting, though. I could do that, too. And I still move, because I'm superimposed. But yeah, we did not get as many things done as we were hoping. And we definitely didn't have to run, but it certainly was a little scary. Okay, well, I want to do some flesh tone. If you notice here, I'm actually doing everything the opposite of what I normally do, which is the face. I do the face first, but the reason why I did not in this case was, hey, look, I didn't get the black on there. And a little bit there too. I just did the hair just a few, like 20 minutes ago. I want the face to dry as completely as possible. It tends to get chalky. So I have only one face because I did this face on the stream a little while back. And I was happy with how she came out, except the mouth is not great. Let's look at this one. She's got lipstick that matches her clothes. So I don't know if you guys saw, but today I think it was today, they released the Daredevil trailer for the new Disney Plus show Deborah's got going. We'll start in 2 months. Just about 1 month and a half, March 4th or 6th or something like that. I'm looking forward to it. I've watched one show of hers, of that show. And I'm just not a TV guy, but we started it up and we will finish it up before the new season starts. So we can watch that one. Because she's in, I don't know how many she's in. She's in a few. I think she's going to be in more next season. That's all guess. Because there are some potential surprises. Who knows, right? That's going to be a drama. So well, I guess I could say that. She was at the, well, I don't know, everybody was there. So I don't know what the stories are, so maybe somebody will pass. You know, I don't know. There's supposedly some comic book story that involves her, what is his name? I know his name, the character's name. Anyway, the main guy's friends, so I don't know what's going to happen exactly. But I am excited. I was very excited for Deborah. Gosh, it was about a year ago that she went to New York to film. And she'll be in New York again this year, starting in about a month for the same thing. I should have, boy, I don't know which one of these bottles is mine. Yeah, all of us are safe. Dave is up north, but his house, which was the one, so the fire that we were near on Friday was just up the hill. Dave's house is just up the hill. And the mandatory evacuation was very close to his house. Mandatory evacuation, again, does not mean that the fire is there. It's just that there's a good risk, particularly because there's grass, there's brush around. Like Dave's house is against brush. Our friends up in the hills to the northwest of us here, also up against the brush. When we had the fire in 2018, they had to leave, and the fire went up to their house, but they had fire retardant sprayed, dropped all over their place, and it was that pink, so they had to repaint the house. But yeah, Dave was okay. He was joking to our friend Mark that he had evacuated last month. Because he went up to stay with his mom. So, and we're hoping to see him. We really have some, well, I would like to film with Dave, and I'd like to see Dave, but you know, his mom is really, it's really, she had a health scare a month and a half ago, because he was here. So I think we were supposed to film with him. The episodes that we did with Mike recently, those are supposed to be with Dave, and Dave had to leave. So we shot a couple of things without him, the three of us, and then he came back in the second week of December, and so that's when we filmed with Dave and Deborah for the advent calendars and stuff. And we have a couple of episodes queued up for that. I'm very excited. We have a episode that we've been sitting on for like 4 months, maybe 3.5 months of no, 4 months, over 4 months of Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters, because we were waiting for it to be available. So we filmed it, I think, in advance of Gen Con, maybe not, but I think so, with Brian and Tashi. Brian is the designer of the game. And we were holding it for when the game was released so we filmed it before August. We've been sitting on it for a while. And we were gonna release all this stuff around Gen Con. Well, we did put out the How to Play video. I'm going to post a thing about it again. I posted something in the middle of December when they were going to have it in stock, actually. But it was supposed to be available in August, and something happened and took months, and then they finally had pre-orders, and they filled those pre-orders and canceled some people's pre-orders. I don't know. Big mess with Amazon. But now they have lots of them in stock, so we're going to put that episode out next week, and it's pretty cool. We've already done that game. It might have even been season 1, but I think it was season 2. Where Brian won the Kinderspiel for that game. We play the new version of the game, which is 1 versus all. So you play all. Somebody plays the ghosts, and the rest of the players are the hunters. And it is a great episode, really, and the game is really cool. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, new Daredevil, Gator Dave. I'm excited. I saw the trailer today, this morning, and I want to look at it on our TV. I only watch it on the phone, but we are actually getting caught up on a bunch of our shows are ending, but and this one is that we're trying to catch up on. But we wanted to watch Lower Decks. We only watched the beginning of season 5, episode 1 today at lunch. But while we were both trying to get stuff done, we had a meeting today for Gen Con already, crazy. But I'm really excited for Deborah. Was so excited that it happened because she really loved the show. She loved the everybody she was working with, so it's pretty exciting. The only downer for us is that she will be gone for 5 months at least. They want her there for the entire show. So that bodes well for her being in the show, which is what I'm excited about. I want her to be in it as much as possible. Okay, so we have the skin tone. Ow, did I scratch myself? Or is that just red paint? I think it's red paint, but my finger hurt. So don't need to do a bunch of skin. I'm gonna just do a little bit. First thing I will do is put out some technical medium. I need to actually get some more. This is kind of getting dry. I watched whole season 5. It's awesome. Oh, hey, that one, the Lower Decks. Yeah, we really like that show. It's actually some of the best Star Trek. We also rewatched. Well, Nikki Connor was really the one that was rewatching it, and I would sit in with her. But we rewatched the end of Clone Wars, which those last 4 episodes are. I mean, you know, I wonder if they. That's too much. I wonder if they planned on it being a kind of like a feature, because they treated it like a feature. The titles were like a feature, and it's a great one, and it's a bummer that you know, I mean, that's the story. There is nothing more that happens after that for that character until later, and of course Anakin. But it was cool. I was very happy to see it. Again, we watched it. Obviously, it came out I think in May of 2020, and we watched it then, and were sufficiently knocked out. And I think it needs a little bit more, which I just cleared up. Huge fan, have bought many games since Discovery. Oh, thanks, Amos. Amos, a bunch of people have asked us to do Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Maybe. The problem is it's kind of a diminishing returns thing. We did get reasonable views. I think we did 7 episodes. And, you know, we aren't concerned about chasing views, because not that we need them, but not that we kind of want to feature what we're excited about, and that kind of precludes us potentially getting views, right? We're going to pick things that we really are excited about, and sometimes those are new or weird things, you know. And sometimes we pick, you know, like Scott will want us to do something, and we'll do those. I mean, we held off on Arc Nova for an entire year because they were saying it's too much for you, you know, like too many things to go wrong, kind of a thing. And then almost more than a year later, because I think we filmed it in January of 2023, and Scott was like, "You guys should do it." And we're like, "Okay." Would have been better to do it while it was fresh in people's minds, because Scott and Aaron, I think Aaron played it with Scott, so it was not an easy video. It shouldn't be that bad. It's not that hard of a game ultimately. It's just, we don't like getting things wrong. It happens. What are you going to do? Everybody playing games, it happens often, I'm sure, with everybody. You just miss something. But we had like a major thing missed on it, the initial play. Then it was crazy. It was hours and hours and hours to do that episode, and that is just not great. And it only, for me, what happens is I think of the production time. So already we've got hours and hours involved in the production time. Then I'm thinking about the editing time, and that is, I mean, Derek does our editing, but I have to do some sometimes, and I also know the pain of doing something really long. It's very hard. You know, seriously, my shoulders start bunching up even thinking about it. But we would maybe. So Dave only ever did that first one. We actually, see, that's the problem with doing season 1. Although potentially it would be all new to make Nikki and me, but we actually played the whole thing. I don't remember if it was before or after it got nominated. I think it was after. Because we played it with Scott and Rusty, and Nikki and I played it over 2 weekends. It was great. Scott was in town for Gamma. Rusty didn't go, but he came over. We played the first half, and then we played the second half the following weekend. It was great. And that's very rare for Nikki and me to actually get to do that. That was what was great about the initiative. Those guys were having so much fun that we just decided to go ahead and go for it. And the designer was super happy. He wants us to do The Mandalorian, which we want to do. I don't know if we'll get to go that crazy with it. Corey. But maybe. I mean, I know that Nikki and I would appreciate it. I don't know that Dave and Deborah would. I mean, Deborah's cool with all kinds of games. We had a great time with the Hogwarts battle. That was really fun. And Deborah loves that game. I am not on camera. Deborah loves that game. She had, I think we mentioned it in the episode, she played like 300 hours of the game, which is awesome. I mean, I would love, had I known that she was doing that during the pandemic, I would have liked to join her. Nikki and I probably would have joined her because we really enjoyed it. I think we played 3 levels in the original one. And by the time the pandemic happened, I think both of the expansions were out. Definitely Monster Book of Monsters. Although, I don't know, she did not play, she played, I think she even said on the video, she played a little bit of the Potions and Charms, I think is what that one's called. Well, that's not ideal. I might try to do a thin coat after this. I did buy something. I saw on Lila Mev's channel, she featured, I like her stuff. She's nice and she does a pretty decent job, and she's definitely a better painter than me, but she's kind of like learning a lot. I mean, everybody learns. Anybody that's honest about painting minis, you're always learning something new. But I feel her stuff is very similar into my discovery. But she had shown this isn't it. I bought both of these. Actually, you needed to buy both of them to get the discount, which was totally fine with me. These are Cuttlefish medium. This is a medium to basically give you, it says right here, takes base paints and converts them to wash, glaze, or griselle ink consistency. And it basically makes it so that any of your standard acrylic paints can become a wash or a glaze or contrast type paint or a speed paint. And it's legitimately, in the video, legitimately good. I have not opened it up yet. I have not had a chance to paint with anything. Hey, Time Roller. Haven't had time to really paint with acrylics much yet. I'm mixing this, I don't know why. Part of my plan now is for that, my plans for maintaining things. One of my what the heck, New Year's resolution. I want to mix my paints. I want to just do each week the front row and then the next row. It's basically like these, there's 6 rows on this one, 6 rows on this one, 4 or 4. So most of these could be done in a month, and I'd have to like go overtime on the final 2, but it's only 2 rows. But man, the paints just, I mean, there's a lot of paints. There's 5 rows on this one too. I did buy that mega set of the Army Painter paints. Man, and it sucks because I want to get the new John Blanche colors. So anyway, yeah, that color is a base medium that does that, and then this converts your paints into primers. It says take any Genesis-based primers, paints into a incredibly protective and what does it say? Receptive. Don't need glasses to read. Primer, which is exciting. I thought, hey, it's worth trying them both. Because, you know, just painting a color isn't so great. You really want to use primer paints, and there's no way you're going to match. Have I done any blacklight paints? So I've done a tiny bit, nothing for minis. I mean, I purchased the whole fluorescent set from Monument Paints, the Pro Acryls. I bought those. I mean, I have a bunch of Pro Acryl stuff. I have all the transparents, although as I've been saying lately, I've had a problem with the white, the transparent white. It's too thick. I need to keep shaking it. But I wonder if they have a medium. I don't know what to do. Because the first bottle I bought was made in Canada. This is when their manufacturing was done in Canada. And then I believe everything else I bought, it was made in Arizona, yeah. So this is in Phoenix. For some reason I thought they were Tucson. But like this is what they should sound like. And this one's thin because I thinned it probably too much. But this is a transparent paint. And it's not even moving around in there. Something is up, maybe the temperature with the titanium pigment for the whites. But I do want to try, I bought those, I watched a video from Vincent Venturella, one of his hobby cheating videos, where he was working with the, I think he really likes maybe Golden's fluorescence, but he appreciated the, and I just bought them at Gen Con, I think. I bought both that and Rogue Hobbies, Louise Sudgeon's paint sets in the boxes. I had not bought any boxes before. I just was buying colors as I needed them. As a matter of fact, let me see. I have that turquoise, this is the first color, I think, one of the first colors. Listen to that, no problem. There's something up with the white pigment. So that's one reason why I want to like mix. Honestly, I should mix whites all the time and maybe thin them. I just don't understand what's going on there. So, we got her face, it's drying. Does not look great. It's really a kind of a trouble with this stuff, man. And again, it needs a couple coats. So maybe I just do a coat of medium. Or varnish, maybe a varnish. Let me use a matte varnish. Because I want to smooth it out. The problem is, oof, I didn't paint her mouth, so, you know, I was trying to like leave her, oops, sorry, hair. But yeah, it's weird, like it takes a little bit, because once you get it, you can still see, maybe you can see it on this one. The rattle can paint just leaves like a weird, almost like a sandstone surface. And it takes a few coats of there's a couple coats of the contrast paint on here, and it smoothed it out pretty well. I just don't want to over apply it on the face. Let me just put a little bit more medium in there. I won't put varnish on yet. And it's okay, right? There's no reason to get worked up about it too much, but it's just, I don't know. This one's Scott's, and I don't want to, I like to do, usually what I do is give everybody, when I do something for somebody else, I just give, if I'm doing two of them, I just give them a better one. I'm not that worried about it. I know how to paint and I can always repaint them or whatever. But it means a lot more to most everybody else, you know, that they want the minis to look nice. And so I'm always concerned, but I kind of don't want his minis to look different. The problem is, wow, it's still pretty darn dark. But it looks a little smoother. I don't think I did very good on her neck. But it basically takes two coats when for this rattle can paint that he used, which I believe is Rust-Oleum or Krylon or something like that, which there's nothing wrong with those. They're going to be thicker, I will tell you. There is something to be said about the reduction in detail. I scraped off something somewhere and I was shocked, like how much detail was kind of cloaked by the paint. And you know, part of that could be just the way Scott, the time of the year, the temperature, how humid it was. Very rarely have I ever primed minis with a rattle can. I've definitely done it, and I did it in Dallas in August. I can't remember when in 2019 if we went to Scott's before or after Gen Con, because usually what we would do is we'll go visit him when we do one of those events. And it turned out fine. I used, I think, Corax Gray. I feel like that's the one I used, because I bought the paint. This is the paint I bought at the time. Gray Sear. I keep saying Corax, it's Gray Sear. And that was what I used as the primer. I really wish I had brought that can home, because I think I can still get it, but they have gotten rid of some of their colors. And I believe the white that I have now from Games Workshop is, it is a new case. Sirens again. Definitely don't like hearing sirens. I would have liked to have just used it a little bit more because, and I'll probably just buy a can eventually, maybe. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It turned out great, and I really loved it, but I would love to do a Zenithal highlight with their paints. Or I might get the Color Forge ones that I believe they're making stuff for Monument Hobbies as well, but Monument Hobbies is like the distributor for them in the US. And I would like to try some of their paints. They have a lot of great colors. But again, I'm definitely a big time spray airbrush person as far as priming. I really like the end result. And it's worth the tiny mess. I mean, you make a mess with the other ones too, so I don't think it's too much lost, effort. Cool, her face looks okay. It's 3 different shades of skin tone though I got here. I might need to put a little bit more on than one in the middle. She looks a little pale. She's ghostly. Let's see what it looks like. Tiny bit here. Did I just put it on her eye? I sure hope not. Anyway, yeah, that Lila Mev video, she showed it, like, comparing it to contrast mediums and stuff and using that. And the really exciting thing about it is it gives you a perfect tone match so that if you wanted to glaze or varnish, glaze or wash a color that you've already painted, you can make an exact wash with that medium that they have. So it's exciting. She was using it with every paint, not just the cuttlefish stuff. I have friends that love the cuttlefish paints. I have never gotten any yet. I mean, I have these, so I have these now, but I have not gotten any of the other colors. And they're supposed to be great, and those are now distributed by Creature Caster. Creature Caster was the ones that actually did, I don't know if they made the paints for them, but they definitely distributed the paints for, I believe they made them, for Monument Hobbies. So now they're the North American distributors. And they're based in Canada, but they had these came from Chicago area or Milwaukee or something, so that maybe that this distributor, so that it's doesn't take so long. It took a while because I bought them basically at holiday time. I think that they're available now. They were doing a pre-order, and that was the deal. I mean, I got mine, and I ordered it not too long after she made that video, maybe. I thought, oh, I want to try that. And they're not terribly expensive. I think they're like $20 for this bottle, which isn't bad. It's 4 ounces. I have it concealed with a price tag on this one. Let's see if I can see one on these. There's interesting, no volume measurement. There's got to be, right? Anyway, definitely bigger bottle. These were $10, $11, so it seems like it's a good amount. And I'm pretty much guaranteed it'll last a long time. I wonder if I could use it as a, probably not, as a replacement for contrast medium. Not a big deal. I just don't really love the bottles for contrast medium. You're Canadian on your mom's side. Did I miss something there, Jim? Hey, Board Game James. Wonder what's on with the BGG homepage. Weird. Is it working now? I shouldn't have to check. We're gonna add, Board Game James is he streams on Saturdays, so we're gonna add his streams to the schedule. He just reached out, and I've seen and read plenty of posts from him on X and stuff like that. I don't know if he's on X anymore. Everybody used to be on X, but it's kind of dead on there now. but we're going to add him on Saturdays. I need to add it to the schedule. Speaking of, let me go to the BG page. I hope it's working. Not that it really matters, but I would prefer to have that stuff working. But we do have I did put the schedule out. Oof, it takes so long to load sometimes. No, there it is. It's there. That page is pretty good, and so it's, I don't mention it enough, BoardGameGeek.com/live. We put in a lot of other streamers on there, and my friend Adam is one of the streamers who does his paint streams on Mondays and Fridays. Early Friday, late Monday, so like 5 o'clock West Coast time. And we do it, you know, we built that page for the pandemic. We ran our virtual cons on there. It was great. And I just thought, why waste it? Let's keep going with this. And so we just put folks on, you know, that are streaming something that are willing to give me that information, because I honestly can't go and dig it up. It just takes too much effort on my part. And it's already hard enough to make that schedule. You're on Blue Sky? Yeah, we are too. I mean, we're on all of it, James. We are on all of it because we kind of can't give up on all of it. Eric, our Martin the News guy, Eric Martin, he doesn't post on X anymore. And I'm not really on there. I go and look because I try to converse with the audience, but it's not a great situation on there, and it's a bummer because it used to be kind of fun. So I don't know. It's all kind of frustrating. So she's kind of done. Now, she's not really done, because what I'm going to do is I will put on, I think I put on a wash. Let's try Berserker Bloodshade. I believe this is what I did. Oh, hey, you're saying you don't use X. Yeah, Angela messaged me on X to ask about the fire. She said I made her get back on X. I don't like X. I actually don't really like any social media. I'm not a Facebook person. I used to have fun with that 15, 16 years ago. But I don't know. It's just not so much fun anymore. And Scott likes it still too. I go on there and I'm just frustrated with myself. I just basically pull out and get off of it as soon as I can. It just is a bummer. And I don't like the ads. I don't know. It used to be fun to like learn new things. And basically that's where YouTube is my, I mean, I've been on YouTube a bunch forever, but I definitely spend more time on YouTube. I don't use, Nikki I think she looks at TikTok, but I don't use it. I'm not really, I'm not that short attention span, to be honest with you. I don't quite understand the amount of effort that, you know, you kind of have to go through to find things. I've done it. I've watched some interesting stuff a couple of times, you know, over the years, and I look at Grant Lyon's stuff on there. Yeah, got some black on her hat. Oops, red coming off. But I just don't. I like longer stuff. I watch. Oh wow, the paint is dry. So there you go. This is what happens. You just pull it off, and there you go. These things are great. But I watch Grant sometimes because he's fun. But like, I like to learn things, and I watch plenty of videos where people are doing projects, and I love the international flavor of what YouTube's got going on. I watch a lady named Laura Kampf, and she was from Cologne, Germany, which we have friends in Cologne and near there. So that was always fun for me. I liked hearing them talk, her and her cinematographer. I mean, she used to do it all by herself. And then she started having a guy named Felix work with her, which I just loved hearing them chat. I loved hearing the accents and, you know, all that similar to our friends. And now she is here. She married a lady here in Los Angeles. She did not do a video last week because she was dealing with the fires as well near her studio. She has a shop that she built. But I have more fun with that. I don't know. But I don't really miss Twitter as much as I used to, the old Facebook stuff. Ratholed.California. Trying to regrow my YouTube. Was very dumb to delete my old one. That's how it goes. I definitely subscribe to a lot of YouTube stuff, and I do like it. I mean, it can be a problem too. Now the funny thing is I don't look at it anyway, but as through my subscriptions. I used to the way they used to do when you were managing a channel. We had I mean, maybe it was just didn't actually turn it on, but I could basically, my board gaming stuff was through YouTube. I would look, that would be the subscriptions that basically Scott did, and I would watch those when I was on there working on stuff. And but now it's mine, and I don't have as much gaming stuff. I have a few that I follow, but mostly, I mean, I have miniature gaming stuff. But even that's weird. So my friend Adam, I mentioned him earlier from Tabletop Minions. He was one of the miniature painters that we had on there, and he was like one of the first ones that I'm like, hey man, you should, because he was, the funny thing is, I don't know if he remembers this, but I said, you should do paint streams on Twitch, you know, because he was live streaming video games. And so he started to do it, and it's actually doing okay, I believe, for him. I mean, he doesn't make a ton of money from nobody makes a lot of money from Twitch unless you're a really big video game streamer. But this looks pretty cool. See how it looks when it dries. What was I talking about, Adam? Anyway, oh no, I was gonna say, but YouTube had stopped recommending his videos to me, and I'm subscribed to him. Like, what is going on? I mean, I liked seeing him in my feed when he had new videos, and I was so busy in December, I didn't really notice that it had stopped recommending them. And so I wrote him and said, hey, I caught back up, but it's weird. I don't understand why it's not recommending it. And he's just like, yeah, their algorithm's strange. So ultimately, you still have to work. If I would just go look at the subscription tab, I mean, of course he was doing stuff. There's just something about like cluing in on it, like through the feed I like. There's somebody else I was thinking about recently that I hadn't seen anything from, and I intended to go check them out and see what was up. But it's a bummer. Like, I know our algorithm is messed up on BGG. You know, it's old. We've been doing videos on YouTube for GameNight. We did live stuff from our conventions. Originally on Ustream or something like that, and then we moved to YouTube and Twitch. Twitch was trying to court us to do stuff, and we're like, they always wanted to do stuff right as we were getting ready to leave. We're like, we can't look at this now. And so, you know, Scott really just, I don't blame him either. He's like, I don't want to sign some sort of agreement that I don't know what it is. And so, we used Twitch, but we were definitely putting our videos on for GameNight starting in 2012, end of 2012. So it's been just over 12 years, I guess. And, you know, it's a lot of effort, and we've done a lot. But again, we know our stuff is not for everyone by a long shot. Because even at when we started to do these, I asked Scott, I'm like, who's going to want to watch this? You know, it's a long... Scott likes watching people play video games playthroughs. He loves it. I don't know if he does it as much now, but he did. And so we... It's a bummer. Social media summed up. Yeah, it's true. Angela, again, if you're ever in LA, again. Yeah, we. I don't know. It's weird. Another big helicopter. I really don't know what's going on. Nikki's been the one that's following up because last night's just woke us up, so she checked it up to see, but there was nothing, just a sad announcement of some folks that perished in the fire. We think I have not heard from them, one of our friends that lived up in, well, Gavin, he's okay. He was going down to San Diego. He and his family were like, because they're in Brentwood. We have another friend that has a house in Brentwood, and I believe he's okay. I sure hope so. Very cool. I do like this red. This is the ball red, and I'm using this blood something or other. Berserker Bloodshade. It's a shade. So Games Workshop was nice 2 years ago now, I believe. They sent me the whole range of the new stuff. So all the new shades and the new contrast paints, and I like their shades. Probably not as much as I like the old. Well, I mean, I love the old inks, but nobody does those anymore. Like that, and they're not really ultimately that great. She got a little bit of a dip on the tip of her nose, which I will probably have to lighten. But that looks pretty cool. So let's work on her face. We sent 2 more water bombs. Really, 2 more water bombs? I knew we had from Quebec, and the drone hit the wing of one of those, which is just the stupidest thing. Which actually makes you, now that didn't take the plane down, but it grounded it. But it makes you worried about drones and around airports and stuff. So, but yeah, it was interesting. Like there was a whole conversation about why they couldn't use seawater, and then they were using seawater. I mean, we just don't have the water, and people are upset in the area with the Palisades fire because, you know, a lot of that is kind of like a special situation. They're almost like remote. And so they had tanks, I believe, in the hills, and when they were dealing with the fire, they used up the water. So it takes a long time to fill it up. Like the way it works is it's an equal amount of water, like they're able to keep up with standard usage. Like it's built and designed for the pumps to work like that, not designed to deal with fires. And people were upset about it. I'm like, man, what can you do? It seems too hard. Okay, so we're gonna do some black. I have my wet palette over here. This is the same paper I've now been using for, this is the 7th or 8th time at least. So basically what I've been doing now, because I've been having problems with mildew, and we don't usually have that problem, but maybe I did leave it out one time by accident on my desk, which I usually put them in the refrigerator, but I don't like putting them in the refrigerator that we have here in the studio. It's a dinky little refrigerator, and it ices over. And if I don't remember to bring it in the house, it's a problem. So what I've been doing now is I just give myself 5 minutes to clean it up every day. So when I paint, I pull the paper off, and you can see here there's a side to it that says, you know, it's redgrass.com. This is what they call their membrane. Here is the package of it. Hydration membrane, 15 of these. I've used quite a few of them. But you can clean them off. Now there's some blue here from a previous time and something else that I had here, a little ghost of it. I don't put metallics on here, but I have, and they clean up just fine before. Now I haven't done it lately, but I let this piece of paper dry. I squeeze the sponge and get all the as much of the moisture as I can out of it, and then I just let them dry. And then I rehydrate them before I paint. It's just another step, but the reality is I didn't really reuse the paint, like from the previous paint sessions. Maybe occasionally, but generally it just separates, so it's not really good. So I've been doing this and it works out pretty great. I'm interested why they sent 2 more water bombers, though. Maybe just because of the winds, because the fires, while not contained, particularly, I don't know about the the big scary one up there in, gosh, what was the name of that fire? Eaton Fire. That one's up in Pasadena, Altadena, and it's scary because the one of our favorite homes, it's not really close now, I think, but the Gamble house, which is Doc Brown's house on the outside from Back to the Future. I mean, we've been going there long before that movie. We had a friend that was managed the place. It's run by USC and the city of Pasadena. So like architecture students, like senior year architecture students, will be there and work on the house and stuff like that. At least that's what it used to be. I haven't been there inside for a while. I've been there many times. We go there just to look around with people all the time when they're in town that have never been. But it was scary because that place is beautiful, and boy, I mean, they've had fires around there before, so, and I think that house has survived, but you just don't know. Ooh, water. I was about ready to put paint on without having any water. You definitely have to make sure it's the right consistency before you start brushing. That was actually another video I watched, Lila Mev, this week. She did one about the secret ingredient that's the cheap one, which is just water, and explaining mixing it, which is really valuable. I'm okay at that. I have been painting long enough that I sort of know, although I was about ready. So here's the funny thing though. These Monument Hobbies paints generally are kind of ready to go, but this black is one that I've had a long time, so maybe it's not. But she gave a lot of advice about like how to make sure you have enough paint on the brush and not too much. So basically you put the black down, and this is kind of like a eyeliner, and then you paint the white over it. And I'm pretty happy with both of the previous Elektras I've done. She's scary looking. Nikki would not like that. Wow, that's too big. Let's just go for it. Make it a little bigger. If you look at the pictures of the minis that they paint, so the people that do the paint jobs for these during the campaign are the people that design the minis. That's a little too big. Let's see if I can clean that up. So I have a rinse well over here that is from Masterson, and it's a large bottle that you invert, and it's got a little reservoir where you can clean your brushes in it. And it's great. It's a little big. Adam, on a video a couple, like a month or so back, listed some products that it was only 3 that he had bought that he liked, some that he liked and some he didn't, but he liked the little reservoir that was $10 at the time when he did the video, but they've gone up in price, probably because everybody was buying them. But they're pretty neat, and it's a much smaller reservoir than this one, and it's a cheese box kind of shape. It's very small. This one's a big round thing. I've shown it a couple times. It's got the bottle is bigger than this bottle that you invert. Wow, I'm knocking all kinds of stuff down. This is small compared to the bottle that's on it. But it has a little button, so it's a little pool of water. I can bring it over. Just don't spill it. So it has this bottle on top of it, and then you press. This is kind of dirty now, and it's good to actually clean your water, because it definitely can. Especially reds are a problem in my opinion, and there's a lot of red in here. So I run it and then fill up the water. You can't see it, but there's a little stopper right here. The problem is today, for whatever reason, it's not flowing. It takes a little bit more effort. But the funny thing was, Adam was saying it stays full. And I didn't write him about it, but I'm like, Adam, it stays full because when the water evaporates and gets below level, it fills back up. This one's like that, but it's not quite as good as that because I feel it definitely has a larger surface to evaporate. But like he said, he forgot to put it, he put it up, set it up, and then had to do something else, so he couldn't actually use it. Came back and it was still full. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't that full. It is great though. I have another one of these Masterson ones, but the little ones that are, so these are like 26. If you have the desktop real estate, it's totally worth it. The bottle is gigantic compared to the one on top of the small one is like that tall. But I almost bought one because I thought it would be good to have, like, I have this, which is one of the Games Workshop cups, and I always keep it clean. I clean everything, so I don't rarely have that much. This has a little bit of mineral deposits from here from just evaporation. And sometimes I forget to clean it. But I like the idea of having a separate clean source of water, completely clean. And if I get paint in it from getting paint from the brush that's in it that I'm using, I can just re-rinse it, but I just don't have enough. I ended up not buying it because they had like a 4-pack for $30, $31. And I almost pulled the trigger, like, oh, I could give it to somebody else too, you know, but because they didn't have, it was $20 for one. I'm like, I don't really want to spend $20 for that. Her face looks a little better there. I put a little more color on it, didn't hurt it. She needs her hair done. Let's see. That is probably dry. Let's try to do some eyes. Let's see how good. I never do great with the eyes on the stream. I do not know what my deal is. I do hope that the fire situation is done. It's very, we've had close calls. One time in 2018, as we were getting ready to go to BGG-Con, we had gone into a neighborhood to the, like, really the only, well, no, there's a game store. Maybe at the time they weren't there. As a matter of fact, I know they weren't there. We have a game store that's kind of about a mile away. That's pretty good. And I go there, but it's not great. And neither is this other store. It's okay, but it's in an area called Oak Park. It's nice. They're mostly geared towards Warhammer, maybe, but they have a decent selection of games. But we went there that day. That night, the fire was around there. They, when we got back home, so we were gonna have to leave the house anyway if they ran the evacuation. They did not, but in the middle of the night, Nikki's parents came over because her parents were evacuated. They live west of us. And then they went back home before we got up to leave. Now, we were leaving early for Dallas. And so Nikki got up and sat with her parents, but and they had the news on and stuff. I missed all of that. But we had a phone call. Code is what the phone announced, but it was code red. And I was like, what is that? And they didn't come and get me, but they did have the news on. So once I realized what code, I think I looked at the phone and it was code red. And so, but we left town, we saw the fires, and it was massive, and that was just down the road. So they had a code red near us. Now, I don't know, code red is scary, right? It's probably evacuate. But I don't know how accurate because it was to our home phone. And they've obviously changed that system because most people don't have home phones now. It's very weird when people we do still. But that's like my mom calls me on that. That is a mess. Once again. What's that that's wonky, Angela? Your eyes? Probably. Eyes are hard. Angela had a great video on her channel on YouTube converting a toy lightsaber. I believe she went to the I can't remember if she went to the Galactic Star Cruiser thing. Our friends did. I wanted to go, but it did not last. I actually, several of our friends went, and one of them paid a lot of money and went for the deluxe thing, which was very exciting, but we just didn't get to go. And it was not as good as... Now, our friends had a great time. We watched Jenny Nichols. I watched Jenny Nichols, Nichols or Nicholson, I think it's Nichols. Video. I've watched her for years, but I was blown away about the amount of time she put into that. I don't know, I kind of like the size of these eyes. Yeah, they're wonky. This is not perfect either, Angela, and these eyes are very large compared to like these eyes. It's funny to me, like, and I did okay on these eyes on the little guy, but you know, look at the face. The face is as big as the vampire's chest. But like, I should be able to do a little bit better job. These are giant. These chibis are just giant. Now she has brown eyes, so you can see these are very round. And I don't think I did a great job on the original one. These are not great either, but I might get lucky and be able to get it together. Let's see if I can do this. Problem is the contrast paint goes very quick. See if I can mix it together just so I don't have to. I don't know if anybody noticed, there was a announcement of a new pinball machine that is based on D&D. We know the people that worked on that, and it's very exciting. I would love to buy it, but we just can't. We do not have the space, and that stuff's expensive. So these, I'm using, there's not a lot of browns in this set. I really am kind of frustrated with it. So these are the two browns. Really, there is a barbarian flesh and topaz skin, which is kind of browns too. But these are under skid tones, and I do love the triads. And these are both in the same triad, ruddy brown, but it's not both sides, right? It's the darkest and the third lightest, which is okay. But I wish that they had more. My problem is I don't really love sets. But I'll tell you the truth. The GW Citadel paints, they have a tremendous amount of green and blue. Tremendous. They have more yellow now. They have a little bit more red, pinks and stuff like that. Some, I mean purples, but not a ton of brown, but some. But mostly these colors, they do too much of these blues and greens and stuff. I think there are two purples in this set, and one's under magentas and one's under purples, which is a bummer. I do like these paints though, they're nice. I don't have experience with, I have experience with artist colors, but I don't have a ton of experience with a variety. I've used GW, whoa, I just threw that. I have GW and I have paints made by the people that used to make GW paints. GW now does everything in-house, but for a while there, early on they had their paints made by HMG in the UK, and then they went to France, and I personally felt the paints from France were amazing. I don't know if they really were. It's been a long time since I used those because that was in the early 2000s. Once again, I'm starting to go to the palette without putting water in. Getting carried away. One of the things I always end up doing with the eyes is just having them looking to the side or something, because then I can sort of pull it off. That's too wet. Huh. Now these definitely need thinning. They're not the same as the I'm going to let that scary looking eye continue. I'll adjust it later. So I like to try to have some of it under one of the eyelids, right? That looks pretty good. I mean, it's not too crazy. Now, I won't do the pupil, although I could probably get away with it, but I don't think you're going to see it so much. Now, there's a bit of brown that from that being too wet, but I will touch it up with a bit of white. Just let that dry. Lost Cities, the original game, seriously, I love Lost Cities. I think we've done it on the show, on maybe Date Night? I can't remember now, let me look. We have all of those two-player ones that they did. Cosmos was really big. They still do them occasionally. Did you guys see that David Lynch passed? That was a bummer. They had said he was only going to be doing filming stuff. Boy, I misspelled cities there. He was only going to be filming remotely. And I don't even know if they got to that point. Gosh, Lost Cities is 26 years old. I feel like we did it, but we might not have. We did an in focus video for it. Maybe we did it on a live stream. We did not link those in. They're now kind of automatically linking if we put the information in, which is a fantastic tool for us. But her iris is a little misshapen here. So I think next week we're going to have a live stream for gaming, and it's going to have some of the news. So BGG's 25th anniversary is next Wednesday. If you haven't seen it, we did a 20th anniversary video. We had people submit little videos, and our friend Annie, I think hers is the first one, and it was an animation that she did that was really fun. And then a bunch of people submitted stuff. And one of the crazy ones is we had met Trey Parker at Gen Con, and I asked him if he'd be interested in doing something. And he's like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, whatever you want. If you just want to say happy birthday, do that. But he actually did an animation. It's great. So it's on the 20th anniversary video, but there's the actual, later on, because nobody was seeing it, we just released the South Park bit. It was really awesome. It was really nice of him to do it. He was very, very, very nice. And they did it while, because I said, well, look, whatever you can do, because I know you're in production. But the way they work is they work till Wednesday, and then the episode goes live. Well, it used to be. They don't do it that way anymore, because they're not filming. I mean, they've done another whole season recently. However many episodes that is, it might have been 6. But I didn't want to interrupt it, I mean, I knew it was in the middle of all that. But he got it to us like on a Monday. He said that we filmed something, it should be through production. So they fully did the whole thing. It was great. This is pretty good. She's a little smoky, cry eyes. It's okay. So I'm going to paint her eyebrows a brown black, I think. But yeah, it was really nice of them. And you should check it out. Scott was wondering if we would do something. We have another thing that's happening this year for the 25th, and I didn't want to step on that. Now, I don't know that I would have been able to get anybody to... It was great. We actually did it all before the pandemic. But we had a retreat, PGG retreat that year in early 2020, and we debuted I think I showed Scott when we got to Dallas. Or when I got to Dallas. Nikki did not come. I really wish she had gone for that. It was actually a pretty good event for us. It was a team building kind of thing. But I showed Scott early, but I showed everybody at the event, and it was great. Really nice. Everybody did a really nice job. And Derek did an amazing job editing it. I did not relish doing that. Trying to do eyelashes, I'm going overboard. But they're there. She's got some bold eyelashes. That looks pretty good. It's tiny, but it's not that tiny. But I don't have to paint any more face for this one. What games are like Lost City, seriously? I think Odin's Ravens is a great one. It's not the same, but it's a two-player game that has some feel of it. It's a different designer. I think let me look that one up. It might have been one of my favorite designers, Torsten Gimler. Why I don't remember that, I don't know. Odin's Ravens got done by, wow, it's not coming up. Did I misspell Odin? Oh, it's O-D-I-N. It is Torsten Gimler, one of my favorite designers. But Osprey Games did it, and wow, I painted all these dark colors and then forgot the one on her arm here. How silly. Anyway, he is a really great designer. He does not do as much design anymore. He mostly does development. He was working for Schmidt, did a bunch of the two-player games that they had. Easy play, not necessarily just two-player. They were four-player and stuff like that. And they were great. I really love that line, and they still occasionally do something, but I don't think they really have done anything for a long time. But I have most of those games, if they were, even some that were only in German. Gosh, I got a dry patch on my forehead. It is very dry here. Kind of got a little bit of fat, and it dried pretty dark there, that red that I used. It's okay, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I wanted to do lines, and I like what I did here with the her skirt, or it looks like a scarf or something, I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy, it's the 25th anniversary. I was not around. I was not into board games when it went live. I got into stuff 2 years later, probably a little more than 2 years later, because I think it was like May or something like that of 2002, and I found BGG immediately as soon as we played games. Back then, the game that we were introduced. Now, we had played board games before BGG, well, many years before BGG, but also in late 1990s, we had a gaming group, and the one guy that introduced us to Catan, was part of that group, and it morphed into video games pretty quickly, within like 6 months or 4 months or something like that. We had a great time with it though, and but it was like the video games were fun too, and we played lots of RTS, real-time strategy type games. Had a good time with that. Wow, is it really that? Oh wait, that's not the bottle. Where is the bottle? I think that's it. It is. What were other games I said were great? Well, one of my favorite games, seriously, is it's phenomenal with 3, but it works with 4. I really wish the episode, we filmed it 3 times and it's never come out. The one with Rusty, which he won, which was amazing because he had never played it, and we were all like sharks. It was Dave, Nikki, and I, and we had played it. With the gaming group we used to be in, we had a thing called Game of the Year, Game of the Month, where they would pick a game and it would be played every week, which was awesome because it meant, you know, it was not necessarily a brand new game. It could be recent, but it got those games played. And, you know, we decided we were going to do a Game of the Year, and so we played Wyatt Earp every week. That was a game from Alea, and it's now out there from, I think it's still available from Eagle Griffin. But it is a rummy game. It's essentially in the Mystery Rummy Game series, which Mike Fitzgerald did. But it's it was done by Richard Borg as well. I don't even know, I'm not sure how much Richard might have worked, the two of them worked together. I'm sure there's some level of it. What is up with that eyebrow, or the eyelash? But we love that game. It is probably my #1 game. Wow, when you look at its other angles, there's no problem with it. That's weird. Truly great game. We really love, you've probably watched it seriously, but we love Big Boss. It's out there still, because it was never available in the United States in a US, English release. They did other versions of the game. I'm not sure. One of them never came out. It was part of a whole like IP that they were doing, where they were adapting some games to this IP. That was done by like Cafe Games, and it folded after like the first one. But we were very excited because it seemed cool. And then they put out Alcazar, I think is the name of it, maybe. And they changed it to be 5 players instead of 6 and stuff like that. We played it on not live stream, on an episode with Dave and Mike. Dave loves that game. We do too, and so does Mike. But he also loves Acquire, and Acquire was the game that inspired Big Boss. And so we did both of those games in a set. I think we booked them, the episodes one after the other too, in over 2 weeks. It was great. I just did what I don't want to do, which is I didn't put the contrast medium down first. Anyway, I think you have a better idea of the end color when you do it that way, instead of doing what I'm doing here. But I love, oh my God, this is what I get. Close the bottle. This is the second time I've had this problem with the contrast medium in like recent times. Anyway, wow, I didn't close the bottle. What is that black? Has that been there? I guess so. But yeah, I love that game. It's really great. I love Speculation, which is harder to get. That was a Dirk Hen game that got released. Wow, that stuff is kind of sticky. The Queen did 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I used to tease Rajiv about it. I'm like, why have you not put that game out, but you've done all of these Dirk Hen games? And so they finally did it. It did not do great, which is a bummer because the game is really great. And we were very happy to get that come out. I mean, I have my own copy that I made. I borrowed Dave's copy of the game because Dave had an original. They were handmade by Dirk and Barbara, and they were in little books, and I think we played with that version, or maybe we played with mine. I don't know. I think we played with Dave's. I can't remember, on the show. Or did we? I can't remember. I don't think we waited. Wow, this stuff is sticky. This is bad. Oh, 2 players, similar. Yeah, Wide Earp is not so great with 2. Let me think what else. There's probably plenty. Boy, that was a mess. That stuff is terrible. And I cleaned up like immediately. There's a ton of 2-player. We just don't do as many as we'd like. We actually really, so this next week, I think, Flatiron is coming out. That is a new one from Isra and Shay, the people that did Red Cathedral, White Castle, and something else. And it's a great game. We played it on the stream. Seriously, you might have actually seen that. I can't remember now. And it's quite good. And the video, wow, this is a mess. Look at this. I'll have to try to clean that off. Now, I made a mess, double mess. It's in here now. But we really enjoyed that one. Really good. And it's from Ludonova. My brush is sticky. Wow, this is truly a mess. That's crazy. Oh, I know what it was. It wasn't that medium that I spilled the last time, though. The one that I spilled the last time was, that one was because it squirted out. I've explained that. So on the stream a couple weeks back, somebody recommended that they tape a paperclip to a stick. And what you really, I did not do that today when I was doing either of the, I think I only did one bottle of the, I did this one. My thing is, don't squeeze these hard. If it's not, the paint's not coming out, there's something wrong. Because there's mixing balls, they could be stuck in the nozzle. But I now basically am trying to just do this every time, poke the hole through before I try to get the paint out, because the contrast medium, the speed paint medium, I literally think, wow, how much is left in here? Not much. And it does have to be mixed. I'm shocked at it. Like this, the contrast medium from Games Workshop doesn't, it needs to be shaken too, but it doesn't need to be shaken as much as this one does. Let me put that back and not spill that all over the place. I'm really not doing great here today. And I still got at least half an hour or more to paint. That's my problem. Let me clean that up. I'm not using that paint, but anyway, so let's see. It's got about half the bottle left, but I mean, I spilled a bunch all over this palette. It was just squirted into one of these channels, and I was trying to like lighten the color of one of the paints. I was very disappointed with the end result there. Okay, so back to this. Make sure it's closed when you do this, but boy, that was dumb. I've had a couple of fun things on the stream so far. Right on my finger. Wow, that's shooting everywhere. Did that get on the Mini? Sure could have. It's on the handle. I mean, it's just contrast medium. It shouldn't be a problem. Oops, not if you knock it down though. Wow, messy. I really don't like these flip tops, man. Like, and it looked closed to me, which is a real disappointment. But it clearly wasn't. Okay. So a little more of the black, or the basilicanum. So I want to do these batons. I don't know what all this red dried paint is. Must have been when I opened the bottle. That's the other thing, is it really crusts up, and I try not to let it, but if you leave it open any amount of time, like I'm doing right here, it sort of drips in, but it still kind of dries up, and it gives you a headache. It's not great. So first, let me paint her. Well, they both need to have their daggers painted. It's two that I haven't painted yet. Or I am painting now, I mean. So her dagger's a little bent, which is a bummer. You can straighten them out if you put them in hot water. I don't think I'm going to do that now that it's, I thought it was straighter than this. I thought I bent it and it stayed, but it didn't stay that much. She looks pretty cool. It's not perfect, but I think ultimately, with the as bright as this one is, it turned out really good. The undercoat, bright undercoats is not a bad thing. I feel that maybe I'm doing a little too dark. Hers is bent pretty good too. Boy, did I not get her hand color on here? I thought I did. I might have missed it. This one I didn't pay as much attention to it. I mean, I was doing it in phases here. Her legs are not done. I suppose I should do that right now. I didn't even finish her arm. The red is not in focus. I haven't got that even done. I really had a problem on this one. Keep getting, I think I've been doing it in the middle of towards the end of a stream several times now. I might have painted her face off stream. I feel like I did though. I think it turned out okay on stream. Great, right on her face. Now this flesh tone is much paler because I actually got the medium. Now I've got black in there too, so I probably shouldn't use it anymore. Let's clean that mess up before it dries. Oh, it's kind of dry. But I am going to put the same color in there probably, so if not, I'll clean it up later. Woof, I got it on her face. What the heck is going on here? Wow. Her face was looking pretty good too. So I do need to mix a little bit to try to even that out. So one of the things I do, boy, this is a big mess here today. One of the things I do is I stipple it. So I actually have Luke Cage here. I kind of stippled his head. It's so large, you know, it's a smooth surface. Woof, this is going to be touched up. I probably need to airbrush that one some. But I kind of stippled it to make it smooth, and it actually works. This is with the contrast paint. And I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. It's funny, I think it's done, but it's not. His mouth isn't really quite done. but it looks pretty good. It looks a little bit more on camera here, as I can see. It might be a little more visibly spotty, but it's good. It looks, and you know, people's skin. Hey, I don't know if I missed you, James, but good night. You take care. What else is a good two-player game that we did recently? Well, we've done many during the pandemic. I love Seven Wonders Duel, and I'm really excited about the Lord of the Rings one. We are probably going to do that on the show soonish, and I really would like to do that one. We did not play it. We were going to check it out at Spiel, and we ended up trying something else out, which we were very excited to try. I can't speak about it yet, but when it comes out, you'll be excited. Where did I do with that stick? Oh, there it is, way over there. Yeah, you can see, like, this is just, it's maybe hard to see, but there's like matte, of a flat kind of appearance. That's all the contrast medium. And here I am doing it again. I'll do it again. Sucks. I really feel the opposite direction is better with this. Alcohol will take this stuff off. I mean, I use that here, but I will use a brush and clean it up. I need to clean up the mat anyway. It's got tons of lint and... Wow, this stuff, I must have it all over my hands. I definitely don't want the color to get into it, and I am getting the color in it. Yeah, if you put it in first, and then add brown till you get the tone that you want, your end result is better for sure. You really have to close these tight. It really, I made a mistake. You must do it every time you use it. Because you can't, I tried to spill it there, you can't count on it. It's very hard to tell whether it's closed if you have it just partially closed. Okay, so we have a little bit on her chin. Oh, Jaipur is a great two-player game if you don't know about that one, seriously. Really great. We did it on the show in maybe November or October. Actually, it was November, October, because Radlands, which is also a fun game, but challenging, where, you know, you frustrate each other, but it wasn't bad. I really liked the game. So I'm trying to touch her up a little bit here by just dabbing on a little bit on the parts that didn't. So I will fix this one now that I have a dark tone again. Did I get some on the bottom of the handle? Sure did. It was actually cool that they had, I mean, I wasn't that huge of a fan of the original Daredevil movie, but it was cool that they brought Jennifer Garner back for that, because that was 20 years previous. Shockingly, I think that it was 2003 or 4. Deadpool and Wolverine was kind of cool. It's, you know, lots of fighting, which I'm never a huge fan of. Okay. keyframes. That one's one James mentioned. I don't know what that one is. As maybe a two-player game, because he's talking about Flatiron as well. I like Flatiron. It was cool. It took us a little longer to do that. We played it on the show on Tuesday this week. We were eager to try it out before we filmed it. It seemed like we would like it, but we just wanted to make sure. And then we filmed it that day. It didn't get done right away. I had some other work stuff that had to happen, which is a bummer because it's not fun being tired. It's a weird deal. Like you think, oh, 10:30 is not that bad, but like getting up and being ready for a live stream, particularly when there's both of us involved. Paint streams are a little of a bit of a preparation. But I have most of the paint stuff ready here. Okay, so I feel like this, I feel like these are similar. Like, I don't know why this is so shiny. I thought I varnished this, but I don't feel that I did if it's this shiny. Boy, her skin is just not perfect. Let's see if some color on her lips will help. I have this red that I still need to paint, so maybe I'll do that right now. It's weird. I'm doing things backwards, which is not like me. Now, I use this red at its fullest intensity, so I'm just going to not even bother putting it back on the palette, even though I did. Hey, thanks for the follow, Deep Skywalker. Woof. Trying to get it everywhere. I'm working on Elektra today. I was hoping to do some other stuff, but I've had a little bit of spills here. I spilled contrast medium, which is not too horrible, but it's definitely becomes gel-like very quickly. That is about how these contrast paints work. Is once they start to dry, they gel up. Let's see if I can paint this from over here. Cool. Okay, now back to the they're similar. Let me, my brain is not working, but because I know we played a bunch. There's the Aqua, I think, from also that was Cosmos a few years ago. That's great. It's a tile laying game, which is Nikki's kind of favorite thing. That was also Cosmos. And then there are so many in that series that are good. Cleopatra versus Caesar, I think, is coming again. That might be from something that I saw a bunch of games being released. That one's a good one too. Dave could tell you about that one. No, I only played that one a few times. All of those, I believe those Cosmos ones are worth buying. Almost all of them. Rosenkönig, I can't remember what they called it in English, but that was a Durkheim game, I believe. Let me look it up. Might as well be correct. Oops. Rosenkönig is 1992. Yep. And it is Durkheim. So he mostly does stuff with Queen games now, but that one's, it's called the Rose King, duh. That one's a great one, and it's been available. That Rose King one is a new version, because I think the originally published as Texas by DB Spiele. I wonder what Texas is like. Yeah, I think we played the original version of that game, of the one I was talking about earlier, Speculation, which is a stock market game, Dave's, and people were disappointed that we didn't wait for the Queen one, but we were, you know, the Queen one looks great. It's really, the only issue is they did change. It's like I think it's a bag draw and it was dice. I know it was that. Originally it was dice in the game, and they did a bag draw to like balance out the, like, you know, luck part of that. And that's fine. But we were kind of saddened, and they put out a promo, which I think I might have a few of those dice left. I held on to them. A promo of those dice so that you could just play the original version of the game, which was really cool. Wow, not enough paint. So I got a little bit carried away on the red here, and I don't know how well the gray will cover that up. So I'm going to touch that up, although I can see here where I didn't get the red around that corner. Man, I really liked Seven Wonders Duel. It's very different than the, and it's a Bruno Catala, Antoine Bauza design, and it is great. And it was interesting to hear. I talked to Bruno occasionally. We get to talk to Bruno, and he had said how great that experience was for him because Antoine was fostering new designers, young designers, and Bruno's not been, he's been around a while, but it really kind of got him into the, I guess, in the big leagues as far as having, I wonder if I should put, I think I did put a little bit of, but you know, Bruno does the same thing, working with new designers, getting them recognition and going, and it's pretty awesome. I was very excited for Bruno when he won the STJ. He really is a great designer and really deserved it. I am doing it again. I'm not going to do that this time. Definitely start with the contrast medium. It really is better. For me anyway, I guess. Am I going to do a bunch of, I guess. So let's see how this goes. Now, I don't mind getting a little bit of the color in the contrast medium in the color, as long as it's not mixed up with other color. But yeah, definitely don't leave them open anyway. They don't, the problem is this stuff just isn't, these bottles are not great. Wow, sirens again, man. A lot more than we're used to hearing around here. Maybe too thin. Oh, well, there's another game that's kind of like, you might know about it from, that's like Lost Cities. It's called Battle Line and Schottentotten. That one's a great game. That's not dark enough. That's also Knizia. And his there's a dueling one called, it was also, I think, Cosmos. Is not, I don't remember what it is called. It might be called Duel in one of the versions of it. I do not remember. It's a great game too. It's different though, it's kind of retro. See, this thing just doesn't help with the focus. So I think I'm gonna make, I'm still not done with those colors. I think I'm gonna make it a little darker for her hair. Although I could build it up. Gosh, what is the name of that game? I have it, I think I have it. I gotta look it up. There's another one called, that's not a two-player game. There was a redo of it recently about princess, like a wedding, royal wedding maybe, or something. What was it called? The Reaper Bond, right? I don't know how to spell Reaper Bond. I think they call it New York something or other, Times Square or something. Is this it? Auf der Reeperbahn. Yeah, it's called Times Square. It was done by, I think. So Royal Visit is the new version of that. That's not a two. Oh wow, it is a two-player game. Wow, I do not remember that. It's pretty great. Royal Visit looked really good. We did not get it. We saw it at like 2019 maybe at Spiel, and we asked for a copy. That says 2006, but that's a great one. Let me look at Knizia, other stuff. Boy, it's not Duel. It's a sword fighting game. I mean a dueling game. It is not, oh man, there's so many good games from him. It is not listed. It's not one of his high points. Wow, 775 games. Well, I'm not going to dig through that. Well, definitely Reaper Bond or Royal Visits. It's in the standard two-player size box game. I thought for sure that it did 4, but it does not. Very good. And Odin's Ravens is in a rectangular box now, but the original version that we have, and we have the new version, I think, because I think we did the new version on. Maybe it was during the pandemic. We might have to send that back to the library. But yeah, Radlands, if you want to. I mean, it's a mean game, kind of. But that's a tiny box. I was actually surprised at how small the box was, because I thought it was much bigger than that. I didn't do the batons. Let me do that before I go any further. I was hoping to actually varnish these guys tonight, but I don't think I'm going to get to that. I mean, you basically, in a two-player game, it's going to be a tug-of-war, right? That's the way those are. So in a two-player situation, you just have to expect that to happen. And some folks just aren't great about it. I really enjoyed Flatiron. I wish that it took us a little while. I think we did a better job on the live stream, but I think we were just stressing about getting it right. And we didn't start filming until 5 in the afternoon, which is not a good thing. But that'll be a real episode next week. Let's hope we got everything right. I somehow get the temperature coming from Alexa. I somehow asked for the forecast or something. Oh, that's right. There's a frost advisory tonight, I think, which is so rare. So basically what I'm doing is like glazing the white over this red that's already, you know, it's not the same color as the skin tone, but I'm hoping that it'll lighten the intensity of it. That looks pretty good. No problem, seriously. I can actually probably do, if you listen, I did a podcast with Candace 2 years ago. Sounds about right. Where I specifically talked about my top 5 or something. I always cheat on top 5s and top 10s. I always have more than that number. So I think I had more than that on that. You should check it out. Some of these I've mentioned. I know I mentioned Seven Wonders Duel on that podcast, but you should listen. It's pretty great. And Candace has some great ideas too. She's definitely a heavier gamer than me. Okay, let me do a little bit more of this, and then I'm going to darken this up for her hair. I'm going to try to build it up, but not so I have to do too many coats. It's funny, I like 2-player games, but I much prefer 4 players. It is my way to play games. And I'm not even a big fan of 3. 3's okay, and we film them. We're going to be filming some more up ahead because we just can't seem to get somebody here all the time. We have 2 dates of filming. We'll see. Coming up, not this weekend, but the next. And one of them I scheduled so that Dave might be in town, and I hope he will be, because we sure could use it for a few things we need to do and want to do. But he's taking care of his mom. I was really sad to hear about David Lynch. Now, David Lynch was a smoker, and that's why I think he had emphysema and stuff, all that at the end of his life there. But he's the same age as my mom, basically. And my mom's doing pretty good. She's not a drinker. She's not a smoker. So, hopefully, she's around for a while. But it got me down when I read that. We were actually getting on our Gen Con planning meeting this morning at 11, and I saw that, and I'm like, what the heck? I mean, if he is in California, he was in California. I hope he wasn't in the area during the fires, because with emphysema, that can't be good. So this is flowing better than the last batch of this I just did earlier. Very weird. Maybe because I have more of the contrast medium. I don't usually use much water. Now, maybe my brush is wetter. I don't know. I don't think so. But I do like 2-player games. I just don't, they're not my, there's a social aspect, I think, of games where I really like it with 4. Nikki has been wanting to play some deeper games. My problem is I think I mentioned this earlier, I like deeper games, but I don't love doing them on the show because they're hard. They are really hard, and there's so much more of a chance of a problem. And then, of course, the production, I know I mentioned this earlier because I talked about Derek editing it. In my mind, whenever we do any of these things, the longer stuff is just, I know it's going to be a beast to get together. It's a beast to prep the video to get edited. It's a beast to, wow, I really did the same thing on both of these head wraps. It's a beast for me to proxy the stuff and to upload it and then to look at, it's hard on the system, and that's all I think about. And it's really a bummer because that's why I like longer games at cons, because then I don't have to worry about it. Because we did, at the beginning of the season, went back to Arkham Horror card game and did Edge of the Earth, which was awesome. But you know, we filmed it. We actually filmed that one twice because we had a problem. And Aaron was like, I don't have the time to come back, but I think he really wanted us to not put out the one with the problem. It was just well, it wasn't a minor thing. It was a big deal. I was like, don't, you know, when he had the problem with, when we had he, wasn't him. When we had a problem with Arc Nova, I'm like, don't worry about it. It's like, it's very easy to make mistakes. And it's one reason why playthrough videos are challenging, right? A lot of groups, you know, like I believe Dice Tower just generally does the first round or something. Maybe not Dice Tower. I think Meeple, Man vs. Meeple does that. Maybe I'm wrong about Dice Tower. But I understand it completely because the longer you go, the more likely you are to make a mistake. And you know, it's a challenge and nobody wants to mess it up. Nikki doesn't like messing up. Dave doesn't like messing it up. Aaron doesn't like it, you know. Deborah nobody likes messing it up. You know, Deborah really wanted to do Clank Catacombs, which we did, and she missed something, you know. I mean, part of that is I think she taught it correctly, but I think what happened was we just messed up in the gameplay. You know, it's just so easy to do. And you know, you can't, the audience is just, you know, they want to help you out, make sure that people know that you messed something up, and it's a bummer. And you know, Deborah did a great job. That was her first real big teach. And she did an amazing job on the Harry Potter one. But she missed something. You know, it's hard also to see across the table what's going on. And part of the job of the people teaching the game is to make sure everybody's playing the game correctly as best as you can. And that's just hard. It's just absolutely hard. Another plane now. Kind of late for a plane. That looks pretty cool. Oops, still not missing spots. Man, these things don't help with the glare. Keeps it off focus, and I'm moving it out of frame. Where's the podcast? There is a thing on BGG for, if you look, like tomorrow there'll probably be a podcast. I don't know for sure though. There might have been one last week, but there is for the BGG, you can search Board Game Geek podcast. And it's also on YouTube. I don't know if mine is on YouTube. Let me look. It might be. I don't remember if we started putting them on, when we started putting them on. "59 episodes. That probably isn't everything then. She's been doing it for a few years now. Let's see if... Dang it, it's going to play. Going backwards in time here at least. Hey, I might be on here. 2-player games. Quick playing 2-player games. Don't see the description. That is the one. So I think it's like episode 9, quick playing 2-player games with me. And we recorded that here. That was actually, I don't know if it was easy for Candace ultimately. She has her system down for doing them at home. But it was fun. Nikki did one as well. I don't remember what they did. Tile Lane games, maybe? Plus, we also did, although we mostly talk about Catan on that, we did the role play, no, what is it called? Gosh darn it. It was James Hudson's show. I keep wanting to say for initiative, but that's not it. Role play, maybe. I can't be right. Let's find that one too. That's a pretty fun episode too, though. That one you see us. So that's cool. They actually have that up there. I don't usually listen to them from there. The rollout. Oh yeah, that was one I think we did as well during the pandemic. Wow, we've done more than I remember. I did a Q&A with Ito from Pencil First Games. We did a chat with Russ, gosh, Russ Chapman. We also did one with the board game barbecue people in Australia. But I'm not seeing the one. I don't. Let me look James Hudson up. That might show up. We don't pop up here. Nope, there's a lot of people named James Hudson. What was that show called? Well, let me look up, what is the name of that publishing company? Skybound.
I am Laura Ennis, and I'm a storyboard artist on Invincible.
Hi, I'm Matthew Carbonella.
It's been so long time. It's been so long since they did it. We filmed that in 2019, but it was amazing. I've never been to a production like that. I mean, I've been around some of that, but not like at the level of what I understand now. And so I was talking to the director, talking to the sound guy, asking about their gear and all kinds of stuff. It was really fantastic. Gosh, what's that? What is that show called? I'm really drawing a blank. It's got to be coming close though here. I'm not seeing it. 4 years ago, it was probably not. It's got to be closer to. It was like near Gen Con time that it came out. Boy, they have a lot of videos. But they're also talking. Skybound is Walking Dead, the creator of Walking Dead. So they have lots of stuff about that. Talk Dead to Me is a show here that I'm seeing. But James's show was, hey, look at that, Wonderland's War. James was really talking about it. Like, they put a nice production on it. And, they were, because I think Paula Deming was on there. I'm almost sure of that. And I definitely know that Becca was on that too. Scott, not when we were there. They filmed it at a gaming pub that's gone now. That was by USC. That was a real downer. 6 years ago. Boy, I'm not seeing it. Did they kill it? 6 years ago seems long. Do they have playlists listed? Nope. Oh, Skybound Tabletop, maybe. Goodness gracious, I don't remember the name of it.
What's up, everybody? It's Big Clutch.
Roll.
Today we're looking at
What is it called? Roll for. It can't be initiative. Man, it's terrible that I can't remember that. I feel bad. But yeah, you can listen to, hey, Amanda, you heading out? We are doing good. I hope you're doing fine as well. We need to have you come again. We have some stuff filming. I think if you're going to SoCal Games Day, though, we probably won't be able to do the one we want to do. We have our friend Gabby coming. Maybe. She was in not Dallas. She was in Atlanta, and but she's scheduled to come on the 25th, which is a Games Day, or 26th. I can't remember. I think that's 25th. And we kind of, you know how we are. We need to film episodes here. Let me put Nikki Pontius. She would probably come up better than me. My name is weird. Although there is like an Olympic athlete that is got the name Nikki Pontius, I think, or college athlete or something. But I'm not seeing it because we have so many things that we've done as our own. I thought it might show up with her. I don't know that I put Pontius though on those things. I think it's just I put Lincoln and Nikki. I'm wasting time, but actually things need to dry. It's pretty bad here. And Chris Pontius is also another name that comes up with in relation to Nikki Pontius, which is not great. Let me try one more thing. Oh wait, I think I can search on Skybound's page. Nope. I mean, I can. Although who knows with the YouTube app. It is very strange. I wonder if they've pulled those videos. "10 years ago, goodness gracious, is the oldest." I can't imagine they'd pull it. I was kind of going to try to get Deborah on there, but I think it stopped before really we knew Deborah at the same time, but we met Deborah around the same time, but I just didn't feel comfortable like booking her for things. But I thought it would be cool to have her talk about getting into board games, because she got into RPG games, D&D, way earlier. Okay, I think this has got to be dry. I do also need to put the kind of the lining with the shade. 7 years ago. There's definitely less going the other direction than there is starting from now back. Wow, the views some of these are not great. I don't think there was a ton of views for us either. People don't know. Part of the confusion is they think I created Board Game Geek, which I did not. Starting roll. Good gosh, finally. Took me a while. This is something else. I keep getting that one. There we go. Gamma Ray. That is the channel. But we talk about Catan on that one. I mean, maybe it says, you know, how it inspired Board Game Geek, but it didn't inspire the site. It did for Scott, but not us. Anyway, there you go. Took me a long time. Oof. My skin is very dry. It's really kind of rough right now. Let me put my glasses on to see this again. I tucked them away in a bad spot here. Not really, but there's another pair of glasses there. I got glasses everywhere. Okay. She looks great. I definitely want to do some of the lining. I think I need to do a little bit more red. I'm going to probably leave her hair like that, maybe put some highlights on it. And maybe on the stuff on her knees. Come on, this darn stuff. That's the only bad thing about anything shiny, is it just kind of focuses on that. And the focus is fast on this thing, so I just need to be patient. So I'm going to get back that red, that Berserker blood shade. Put this back. I think I'm done with that for now. And I'm definitely done with that for now. Maybe. But yeah, using something to hold these bottles is important. I probably would have, I was shaking that stupid paint was what the deal was, and I probably didn't even need to shake it because I just used it a little bit earlier. I can't believe how sticky that it is, that contrast medium. I didn't see, here's, I think, obscured detail. Like, this is almost gone. I just painted it. I didn't paint it because I thought it wasn't there, but it is. So the rattle can be, you got to be cautious with it, I think. And, you know, the details are not this great on these minis anyway. They're pretty good. But, I mean, for the size, they could be phenomenal, but they're not making that kind of a game. It's crazy how many sirens I'm hearing. Maybe I'm just now shell-shocked. That was a dry clump of paint inside that paint. I barely used that. That's a little frustrating. Plus, just the worry about somebody starting a fire is there's been a lot of I mean, the one that happened near us was started by somebody. Or at least somebody was arrested. I don't know if they did for sure, but it's not great. And frustrating, you know. I go to clean the brush. Oh, there it is. Could not figure out what I was cleaning to clean up. One of the games we did recently with James was his release of Tidal Blades 2, which I really loved. I would love to play that one more. That's another one I would like to play a few rounds of it. We did a few, like I think we did the first 3 on that one on the show, but it was great. It really is cool. It's a dungeon crawl, but not in a dungeon. And I really love the mechanism of the cards on the, you have a 9-card array that, up to 9 cards. That looks cool. Let me see if I could do this on her lips on the other one, use this color. That might be cool. Instead of lipstick, like a lip gloss. Wow, this actually kind of goes on. It'll dry faint, but it goes on pretty well. That is very cool. Do I need it on the other? No, I did that face already. Okay. Wow, those look good. She looks a little darker, which is cool. It's too gray, right? Ultimately, in the undercoating there. So you know, and then this I lightened up, but she looks pretty good. She's got, her eyes are a little more almond, which looks great. And then this one, I feel they're a little too round. Can you see it? But they look good. I mean, all 3 of them look good. It's crazy how good those are, ultimately. What's the paintbrush I'm using right now? So the paintbrush I'm using right now, Leon, the Smithy, this is an Army Painter one, and this is their speed paintbrush. I got it with something. I did buy it like a small speed paint set, and maybe that's what it came in. I can't remember. But it's pretty good. It's not the, you know, it's not the finest. I don't even know what it's made of. It doesn't say. I'm sure it's synthetic. But it's like the right length. I need more brushes like this, in this size. I don't even know what size this is. I would say, let's see, what do I have? Do I have some small brushes here that I could use as an example? I like longer bristles. I like a little bit of snap. It's been doing a good job retaining a point. I'm trying not to use it to paint large areas. I'm using other brushes to do that so that it doesn't, because when you're painting the larger areas, you're kind of poking it in there, and it causes it to, cause the tip to curl, and that's just not ideal. Now I did not fix, but sort of get it in a good shape again. I think this one. So there, you can see it's got a curl again, but I put it in hot water and it actually straightened out for a while. So I would say that that's, you know, hot water on synthetics, it does a pretty good job. You just don't want to get it into the ferrule where it would release the glue. But it's actually much better than it was, and I probably could get it to do it again. Now, you're going to only be able to do that so not too many times. It just isn't going to happen. That's interesting. That's kind of a berry color, that Berserker Bloodshade. But yeah, I have all kinds of brushes. These are sacks, and I bought these from an educational supply. They're nice, I like them. I also have a bajillion of these. I bought like a whole bottle. I like these. They are ridiculously inexpensive. They're Royal and Langnickel. Again, I think these are like student type brushes. The best ones though, so they're in 1s, 2s, 3s, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? Yeah, 6, up to 6. My favorites are the 4s. This 3 is not bad. The 4 holds a lot of paint. It has a pretty good point. Is this the 5? No, this is a 2. It's not, you can't see the point because they've been just sitting here. I usually leave the paint. 2's okay. There might be better ones in there. It comes with like 25 of each. Is that right? Sounds about right. Maybe 24 of each color, each size. The 1 is not great. Boy, this has got the contrast medium all over it. And this one has had some troubles. It's not, I think the ferrule it's too fat for the size. I also have some Winsor Newton ones. This actually liner, which is Lowell Cornell, back when these were made in Japan, I think. Yep. This is still a great brush. I have a couple of these. Hey, that's called Mom. Let me snooze that. Yeah, I gotta clean that up. It's a mess. Did I get it on more than one of these things? Anyway, boy, did I make a mess with that stuff. It really is thick too, the contrast medium. Lots of cleanup. But I have some Citadel. This is a fine detail brush. It's fine. Not great, but fine. And you can see it's very tiny. I should use it more because it probably is a good size. I don't have enough tiny but long. This is another Army Painter one. This is base coating. It's okay. They have some new brushes, I guess, maybe coming that sound like they could be pretty good. This is another Saks. This is a 2. I wanted to try both the golden Taklon and the white, maybe Taklon. It's synthetic. They both seem good. I really like the Saks ones. They have done pretty well. I have, this is Citadel small dry brush. It's okay. I have some red grass ones. I have a bunch of, I got Adams. Oops. I got Adams, Uncle Adams. These are synthetics. 00. So you can see it's kind of short. So it's actually shorter than that one. So that one may be some sort of 1. I like these. I've used these. Not a ton, but they're pretty good. I also have some of their. These are all Uncle Adams are from Monument. I don't think they make these anymore. He is now part of the Army Painter team, and so I think that's why they don't do them anymore. But I could be wrong. They just could be between runs. They've actually changed the way they do their brushes. They've changed their line a little bit. Probably because of the stuff with Russia. These are some of their Kolinsky Sable brushes. They've changed them slightly. There's a whole bunch of range that I bought in here, and these are good. I've used them a little. Need to use them more. Mostly use these are igniters. They've changed the name of those too. Mostly if I'm going to use them, I've been using my Winsor Newtons, which are not real long bristles, but very nice brushes. The problem with anything buying brushes nowadays, I will say, I guess we're done here. I can switch to the camera. The problem with a lot of brushes is you really kind of need to see them in real life. If you buy them on Amazon, you probably can exchange them. And I'm sure maybe Dick Blick will do that. I've bought some brushes from them. I bought stuff from them and definitely probably bought some brushes. And then some others, there's Jerry's Artorama that has stuff and sometimes good prices. So here's some Dick Blicks that I bought. I bought some large 6s, and these were actually pretty nice. But I mean, this is for a lot of paint, not really a miniature, more like a base painting thing. Boy, I pulled out these and they all fell out. I've changed the way this cup works, and it's not working. Too much stuff somehow. I thought it was too small, but now I've got too much. Maybe it just has to get around it. It's a Route 66 cup, but I really like these Roland nickels. For the money, I use them till they're no good, right? They're like 35 cents a piece, and they're pretty good. I just wish the 1s and 2s, the 3's okay. I used that today. I was doing like large amount of paint with it. They're just huge, right? They're a little too big for what, like here's a 2. Oh no, this is a 0. Wow, okay, maybe I'm wrong. But here's the 2, and that's the 1. Where's the 2? I'm gonna say every one of these is a 2. This is a 5. We know what the 6 is. I thought I'd get a 2. Oh, there's the 2. You can see the difference in the size of the ferrule with how many bristles it is. It's too big. Well, again, this is a 0. There is no 0. There's a 2 here. Okay, here you go. Okay, so it's longer. Now this one I cleaned. It's not, the point is weird here right now, but so yeah, there's the difference. There's a 2 and a 2. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just know that I don't love the 1s, and they're okay. This one's just been through a lot of damage. And you can see paint in the ferrule. Now this is almost all speed paints. Speed paints aren't as awful as regular acrylics, but they're not great either. You don't want to get stuff in the ferrule. And you don't want to use acrylic to clean them up, because acrylic will break down the glue. You can get it in the bristles a little bit, but you don't want it in any deeper than that. Hey, Cersei Twitch, how you doing over there? Okay, everybody. Well, thanks for joining me. I'll be back on Tuesday. Nikki and I will be back with a Game Night stream on Thursday, and we're going to have a stream of some sort on Wednesday, I believe early. I don't know that we'll be involved the whole time, and it's probably going to just be on YouTube, is what the discussion was today. It is related to the 25th anniversary, so it should be fun. We're going to have guests, and I just dropped the airbrush needle. So there's going to be guests. We're not running it. It'll be Scott, which is exciting. It's hard to get Scott to do streaming. And I think we're going to handle it all on a Zoom call. So we might play some games and stuff and just talk about BGG. I mean, it really was a eye-opener for me, and it obviously changed our lives. But hope you all have a great weekend, and we will try too. And let me think. Let's see if we can raid somebody. Okay. Hey, I'm on the right tab. Amazing. Wow, what manage prediction? What's that? Okay, Bonds is playing Dinosaur Island. We're probably going to go visit her. Let's see if somebody else... She's got a few people watching. But she's been up for a while. She's been up for us, so she's got 66 viewers. That's pretty good, considering how bad board games are. What I love about Bonds is she has the audience involved. We do okay, but she really gets people excited, and it's awesome. I wish we could... I mean, you guys have been wonderful. Lots of questions. We're just not like super excitable, which is totally fine ultimately, but I'm very impressed with her. Anyway, anybody on Twitch, if you want to join in on this raid, please just click through. YouTube people, this will be it. I hope to have... we'll talk for a second after I have everybody raid, and you all take care. So let's get going. Bonds streams at the same time we do, so it's kind of a bummer. I wish that we were... Literally, she's same night, same time. Anyway, you all say hello for me, and we'll be there in a second. And take care. Have a great one. Bye, everybody on Twitch. Talk to you later. Okay, YouTube folks, thanks so much for joining me. Wow, it's totally kind of crazy. Where is this going? Minimize. Okay. Okay, everybody, thank you so much, though, and have a great weekend. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for all the chatting. You take care, and try to keep warm. I mean, it's a little chilly here in California, so it's got to be worse. I know it's going to be 5 degrees and below in some of the central parts of the United States. So they got this Arctic blast coming. So take care.